And the Razzie goes to
Can't Stop the Music.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The official movie of the Village People.
Yeah, almost an unauthorized or authorized would-be biopic of how the Village People started.
Yes, you would think it would be authorized given they're in the movie, but after seeing it, I'm not sure they knew what was going on or anyone knew what was going on.
Yeah, maybe instead of unauthorized, inaccurate.
Yes.
I don't think it happened this way.
I have a funny feeling it didn't happen that way.
Yeah.
But just to backtrack a little bit, welcome to our podcast and the Razzie Goes To.
We're going to be going through all the best, worst picture winners of the Razzies, the esteemed worst award show in Hollywood.
The award for people who messed up.
They messed
but
up
that's okay because we all make mistakes.
That's right. But in a way, they're immortalized through winning this award. So better to win worst than live in obscurity, I guess.
Yeah. People remember the best. They remember the worst. They don't remember the mediocre.
That's right. So this one is a big one because it's the first.
Yes. Our first ever podcast. So, bear with us. It's going to get better. We hope.
Or worse.
Or worse.
And that's fun too.
And that would be appropriate.
Yeah. Just like this movie, it kind of started off bad and then it got kind of worse.
Yeah.
It got kind of worse as it went along.
How incredible would it be if we won an award for worst podcast?
I think that would be fitting and, kind of fun. I would like that.
Maybe we should shoot for that. Maybe we should try to make it bad.
This is a side note. I think this would be a good idea for a podcast, but it's called Dead Air, and there's nothing on it.
Yeah, just a good meditative episode.
Yeah, it's just 60 minutes of nothing.
Did you watch Rocko's Modern Life growing up?
Yeah.
There is an episode of Rocko's Modern Life where they make a TV show that's just a still shot of a can of mayonnaise. And even though I had a strong aversion to mayonnaise growing up, I still thought that was so funny.
And that's art.
That is art.
Yeah, that's like a Warhol thing.
There it is.
There it is.
Warhol. Another New York City legend, like the Village People.
And this starts out.
I think you looked up a bit of background about this. So maybe give us some background about fun facts or how this came together, and then I could go ahead and give the recap.
This starts with Alan Carr, the producer Alan Carr. He had something to do with Saturday Night Fever. He did like the promotion for Saturday Night Fever. And they like, you did such a great job with that. We're going to let you produce Grease.
Oh.
So he produces Grease.
That's not where I thought you were going with this.
You thought it was going with this one.
Yeah.
No, but he does Grease.
Another hit.
That was big. Big movie. And he goes, I'm going to top Grease.
He thought this was going to be better than Grease. Oh, no.
And he wanted to call it Disco Land. Which I think is a better title.
Yes.
Disco Land.
This title, I cannot keep it in my brain. You've told me what the title is like 4 times, and I watched it, and I still don't know what it is. And Here We Go. What?
And Here We Go would be a good title too.
What is it called again?
Can't Stop the Music.
Can't Stop the Music.
But in Here We Go could easily be the same thing.
Why wasn't it called YMCA?
That's a great question. Or Village People.
Or Village People.
Yeah. Another great question is, where are the other songs? Where's Macho Man? Where's In the Navy?
Yes.
None of them are in there. Instead of, they have these other songs that are not very memorable.
I was going to say that during the recap, that the most frustrating part of this movie is it's a jukebox musical, and yet it's a jukebox musical with no hits except for the YMCA. The whole point behind doing a jukebox musical is because you're like, we're going to put in these awesome songs so we don't have to write original songs. And then they didn't do that. And it had me thinking, wow, were the Village People a one-hit wonder? I forgot about Macho Man. That's a fun song. That would have been so fun to see Macho Man in this movie.
It's a big one. Macho Man is a big one. It's like the film equivalent of when you get the greatest hits album and it has one hit. They had the license for the one hit, and then they filled the rest with like junk.
With deep cuts.
Really
deep cuts. I don't know anyone who knows these. I mean, granted, I haven't asked anyone, but I don't think I would know anyone who knows these songs.
Yeah. And in the Navy, that would have been a big film
in the
spectacle.
Navy, another track where you could get a lot going on.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of fun visuals. No.
Missed opportunity. So he thinks this is going to be bigger than Grease because disco in 78 is like the biggest thing on the planet.
Right.
He announces this in 79.
And dumb question, Village People are considered disco?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think, they were like, I think disco, dance, craze. Yeah. YMCA came out in 78 or 79 or something. So they were big.
Right.
They announced it in 79. This comes out in 1980. This is when disco is dead. So disco, their record sales are plummeting.
Disco is cringe.
It's cringe now. They did a big disco demolition in one baseball stadium once. It was like a big story. And now it's
those
like
were the incels of their day, getting together and crushing disco records because they hate it.
I know. But disco's fun.
Yeah.
Disco's great. Yeah. So he wants to do, it's called Singing in the Rain for the Disco Crowd. That's his log line.
Which sounds fun.
It actually does sound fun. And I think the scenes that do work, there are some musical numbers in here that are actually kind of fun and crazy. But there's not enough.
I might disagree with you there, but we can go through them.
But there's more bad plot than there are music.
There's more plot that is so hard to follow. I was focusing so hard and I just couldn't understand who these people were for like half the movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters that don't really pay off. Everybody's parents are in the movie. Like every character has like a mom that shows up, and it's like they all come back for the big number at the end. But we're like, who are these people
and why?
And why are they here? Initially, he wanted Olivia Newton-John for this the lead role in the film. She turned it down to do Xanadu, which was the other contender for worst film of the year. And he claimed that she had too many demands, but she said she only had one demand, which was give me 2 songs, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's not a big deal.
No,
you would want her to be singing, right?
She was a big pop star at the time, so that would make a lot of sense. So that was a missed opportunity to have a big star like that in the movie. I don't know who this person was. I've never seen her before.
I've never seen her before either.
The building of the Village People is kind of like how they did it in the movie in real life, somewhat.
Interesting.
The Steve Guttenberg character, this was started by a producer, songwriter type, and he wanted to create a disco group.
Yes, the first boy band, if you will.
Yeah, very much like that. And he had the one singer.
Yeah, instead of the bad boy, there's a cop. And then instead of the pretty boy, there's a motorcycle man. And then instead of the other ones who are just kind of in the background, there's a Native American guy. And I don't say that as he's just a guy who's Native American. He's like in the garb. I don't think he is actually Native American. Is he?
So according to Wikipedia, he is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. And also, according to Wikipedia, that's how they found him. He was dressed like that. Like he would be dressed like that outside the Anvil, which was a big gay nightclub in the 70s. And that's how they found the guys in the group. They were like...
They just hung outside of a club. They were like, who's hot? Who's in a really specific outfit?
Yes. And they were...
Oh, there's a cowboy.
There's a cowboy. There's a construction worker.
Oh, yes.
I felt like there was 2 motorcycle guys, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. They found them, and that's kind of what happened, because I don't know.
So maybe we should do the plot.
Yeah,
first,
let's do the plot.
Because I feel like we keep dancing around what happens in this movie.
Right.
Okay. So the movie opens. There's a sassy guy who's working in a record store, and his boss is like, you gotta do inventory. You gotta count all the records. And he's like, I have a big show tonight. I can't count all the records. So we're thinking, all right, this guy is going to be one of the village people. At least
that would make more sense.
By we're thinking, I mean, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But if you thought that, you'd be wrong. So this guy, Jack, he just like quits his job and he's like, you're going to have to sell my records someday. The acting, by the way, is sort of like a cross between theater acting and like really old Hollywood, like 1920s. We just got talkies. We think we need to really move our mouths to get people to understand what's going on.
There's a lot of big mouth movements.
A lot of big mouth movements.
Yeah.
Does it communicate emotion though? To me, no. I was kind of lost about what people were thinking or feeling throughout this entire movie. But anyway, so our protagonist, Jack, runs off into the New York City afternoon. There's a long, not very gripping song about how New York is cool.
Right.
Because it's New York.
Yeah.
He's running around by all these characters, including these chicks on roller skates one has San, the other girl has Cisco, and the other girl is Fran.
San Francisco.
And he jostles them up so they spell San Francisco.
Right.
In the correct order.
In New York.
I
don't know why. They're wearing that. Yeah.
He goes to a park. He grabs this blonde girl in a suggestive, uncomfortable way and calls her Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
Which was
weird. Very weird. Uncomfortable.
Yeah. And he's like, you getting fat? And she's like, yeah, getting real fat. And this girl is skinny.
Yes.
I couldn't tell where they were going with this, but she was like, this is the first time in my life I get to eat a lot. And I was like, why? They explain she has retired recently from the modeling industry.
Right.
Which at the time had to be a skinny mini person.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unclear what their relationship is for quite a while. But it turns out that they're roommates in a ginormous apartment. I think even for the time, even when real estate in New York was not what it is.
Completely unrealistic kind of a apartment.
Yeah.
And then
it's like multi-stories.
Yeah.
With a backyard.
Yes. Yeah, with a backyard.
That can fit a stage.
It's a house.
It's a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the village. So they go back to the apartment. What's the guy's name who is in the Native American garb?
I forget his name, but might have been Ricky, but he comes in through the window.
He says, I broke in through the window because my TV broke.
Yeah.
He's like a chill kind of guy. They're like, oh, Ricky.
Well, he says, do you mind that I came in through the window? And she goes, of course not. It's the friendliest city on the earth. Or something like that. This is New York.
I don't think New York ever was that.
No. Even like a close friend, I wouldn't want crawling through my window. You know?
Probably not.
Yeah.
But that's chill. So the guy, Jack, who's at the record store, is really like to this blonde lady. What is her name? I didn't catch it. We're just going to call her blonde lady.
Could have been Olivia Newton-John is how
could have been.
Yes.
Almost Olivia.
Almost Olivia.
We'll call her Almost Olivia was there. And so Jack's following her around like, you got to come to my gig tonight. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be so good. And she's like, oh, fine. And then they go to the gig.
He makes songs. I don't know how he's making them. He doesn't have instruments.
No, he has a turntable.
I guess he's doing looping before looping was a thing. Like he's creating sampling or something. But yeah, he creates songs through other people's songs.
I think so. Yeah, I think he's sampling, but it really wasn't clear. We didn't really get a vibe into his artistic process. She agrees to go to his gig and is just blown away by his artistry.
Yeah.
He's making people dance in a way that is not how we would dance today, but did look like they were having a good time. So she's like, you got to become a professional musician. And he acts as if he never thought of that, even though he quit his job to play music. He behaves as if that is like a completely strange thing for her to say.
He says it's impossible. The industry's not looking for new talent.
Yeah,
They're
the
looking-
industry
yeah.
is totally, they got all their singers and all their songwriters, and now they're just done.
They're done.
Until somebody dies.
Then they get a new person in.
Yeah.
That's the
And
way it
it's
works.
going to be a baby.
It's got to be a baby.
It's got to be a youngin'. So she goes, well, Mama knows people in the industry. And she's calling herself Mama.
Yes.
Because it turns out her ex-lover is a big-time studio guy.
Yes.
She's like, well, you gotta make a song that I can show my connects. He's like, oh, do I have to?
Yes.
And she's like,
kind of
yeah.
the only thing you have to do.
Exactly. You have to make music to have made music.
That's the golden rule of music is
Right.
you have to make it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen to you. You can like trip on a can of paint and like accidentally paint, but you can't really accidentally record a track.
No, you need to write out a song and make it happen.
So he writes a song and she's like, this is good, but you sound like bad. You got to get people who can sing. And he's like, where could I ever find anyone who sings?
In New York City.
In New York City. You're talking crazy.
Yeah.
And then she walks outside, wanders around the block, and finds 4 queer-coded men and brings them back.
On the same block.
On the same block.
Yeah.
Who all happen to be able to sing.
Right. She doesn't go to a nightclub
No.
where people are singing. Literally guys off the street.
Just random guys.
One guy gets his own song, the construction guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, doesn't this happen where she goes to him and do you want to be a pop star? And he goes, a pop star? That's my fantasy. And then it goes into a music video where he gets a solo song. No one else gets a solo song.
What was unclear to me is if that was a fantasy or if that was a commercial he was shooting. Because didn't she when she was walking around the block, she saw him in his place of business, which was a motorcycle store, and he's shooting a commercial.
Right.
And he was like, oh, I was going to sing in my commercial.
Oh, so it was a commercial where he's singing.
But it
really
didn't seem like a commercial for motorcycles because he never mentions motorcycles.
It felt like it was some sort of a steel factory where there's just a bunch of steel pipes.
Yes.
And people dancing. And the song is I'm Gonna Love You to Death, I think. It's like something crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't follow it. Most of the music in this was almost like listening to brown noise for me. It was just like just nothing. And like exciting beat, even though we're doing disco, nothing that made me want to dance. And I want to dance all the time.
But nothing in here was
not then.
No. And
I wanted to take a nap during a lot of it. I started thinking about my taxes.
That's the bad sign.
Yeah, that's a bad sign. But anyway, she brings these dudes back to the house. He's like, oh, I can't write songs though because I don't have any paper to write it down. And she's like, write it on a napkin. And he's like, okay. And it's so unclear to me this whole time why she's pushing this guy so hard. I thought at first maybe she was his girlfriend, but she's not.
And he's enormously difficult. Like
he's
at every
so
turn,
annoying.
He's shooting down every solution to a problem. And
he can't do anything for himself. He can't think about anything. He didn't even think to record the music that he was playing.
One thing he did think to do, this was revealed later, he took a vow of celibacy until he got a record deal.
Oh, yes.
So he just made that, even though he's like not really wanting to do anything to help that process along, he did make that vow.
He was an early adopter of the no-fap movement.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But one would think maybe he doesn't want to fap. Because he didn't seem motivated to get out of that situation at all.
Maybe that fuels him creatively. That's fine.
Perhaps. So they sing eventually. It's an extremely tedious situation that doesn't involve them talking about the music at all. Just little strange things that are going on. She's making a lasagna that they can only eat afterwards. Her contact falls in it. She can't find her contact lens. She's got a horny friend named Lulu, I believe.
Oh, yes.
Who is saying things in a horny voice, but I had a lot of trouble understanding the lingo in this movie.
Mhm.
Like at one point she's sifting through the lasagna to find the contact lens, and she's like, I don't want it to be crunchy. And Lulu's like, oh, what if it's a little crunchy? And I was like, how is that a sex thing? How, Lulu?
Yeah, it wasn't really. Nothing was ringing.
Yeah. And then Jack can't figure out how to write music. So he smokes a bunch of weed with Lulu.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And then another one of Olivia's friends comes over with a cop. And she's like, this cop can sing. And
Right.
Jack's like, oh no, a cop. I'm seeing double. I'm so high.
Oh, yes.
And you think something's going to happen with it, and then nothing happens with it.
Yeah. And
the cop just starts singing, and he's like, cool.
And I forgot about this part of it, but I guess he's supposed to be a legitimate cop.
I think.
He's not just dressed that way. He's supposed to be like an actual police officer.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because-
it doesn't really come back. Like there should
Yeah.
have been a scene where he's quitting the force or something
Mhm.
to be in this group. But I think, yeah.
It was unclear to me the whole time if it was a costume or if it was that he's just a cop who she knew.
Yeah.
Then a young, I'm not sure. Okay, I don't want to say that. I don't remember their name.
Okay, yes. Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Caitlyn
Yes,
Jenner's
I was
in the
like,
movie.
okay,
Yeah.
what name do I use?
Yes.
Caitlyn Jenner back
in 1980.
Yes.
Yeah.
Comes to the door with a cake
Yes.
and is like, hey, Olivia, your sister told me to give you this cake. She's like, what? And okay, come in.
This is one of the strangest storylines of the whole
It was
movie.
very
is why is this
unclear to me
character
who
here?
Caitlyn was or why she was there.
Just a love interest for this character, but interjected in a way that's like not really adding to the story at all.
But then it seemed like she did have something to do with the music industry. So I was like, did she come for that reason? But the way that she presented herself was like, I'm here to just drop off a cake.
Right. And there was this whole sequence before where they have the cake and then an old woman shows up.
Woman, this was one of the few parts that I enjoyed.
It was actually
only
a good gag.
lasted 2 minutes.
It was a good gag.
But
yeah.
Caitlin's on her way to drop off this cake. An old lady starts crossing the street, gets hit by a moped and falls over. So Caitlin goes to help this old woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the old woman pulls out a gun.
Yeah.
And is like, give me all your gold. Like a leprechaun would. An old little leprechaun.
Yeah.
And so she gives her all these like rings and
Right.
and whatnot. And then the moped comes back and the old lady jumps on the moped and is like, I was working with Butch the whole time, you sucker. And I'm going to keep my gun trained on you until I'm a block away. So don't you dare follow me and Butch.
Yeah.
Which I was like, oh, that's kind of fun.
It was a good bit.
That was a good bit.
Yeah.
Another character that we're introduced to, whose name I also don't remember, is an older woman who is Olivia's former modeling agent.
Oh, yes.
Is so intent on getting her to come back.
Desperate.
Because she has an idea for a really glamorous milk ad.
Yeah. The dairy industry's calling.
The dairy industry is going to be big.
Yeah.
It's going to be like champagne. Utter champagne.
It's utter champagne. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like 25,000 people trying to be models in New York, but she needs
her. Yeah. And for some reason, she doesn't just knock on the door like Caitlyn did. No. She crosses the street and first of all, someone hits her with a loaf of French bread. Don't know why that happened.
That's the second time it happened. There was another person who got hit with bread. I think it was supposed to be a running gag, but it only ran twice.
You really need a running gag to happen 3 times.
You need it more, yeah.
But anyway, so this woman jumps over their fence in the backyard. The only reason I can think of is like, oh, maybe she wouldn't have let her in the house. But Olivia doesn't seem surprised or concerned when she jumps over the fence. She's just like, welcome to the party.
This is like what happens. People come through the window.
People come through the window. They come over the fence. They knock on the door.
Also, she has a fence.
Yeah.
In Greenwich.
Yeah. And the woman just like is like, yeah, come back, like be my model. And she's like, we're working on a song here. They play a song that's mediocre.
Yes.
So she rejects the Dairy Association offer. She takes the thing to all of her contacts in the music industry besides her boyfriend. They say no. And then she finally is like, going to pull out the big guns. I'm going to dress all sexy and ask my ex-boyfriend.
Right.
So she goes to ask him.
He's
His whole
busy.
thing, yeah, is
He's
that
got two phones.
He's always on the phone.
Yeah.
Another pioneer.
Yes, that's right.
Who would have known? Now we're all on our phones all the time, but this is a landline.
2 landlines at the same desk. He's got one phone on one hand.
One on the other.
Yeah.
And he's always trying to talk to Rod Stewart.
Yeah, that's
but
the big.
Only other people want to talk to him on the phone. So he's always like, "Get me Rod Stewart. Get me Rod Stewart." And she comes in her sexy dress, and he's like, "Oh, waka waka, wooga."
This is the only time I've seen this happen. She was in slow motion, and he wasn't.
Yes.
She was moving in slow motion. He's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, he's going like double the speed.
He was fast motion.
Yes.
Yeah. Their sex must have been awkward if that was, she's slow motion, he's fast motion.
Yeah, just not compatible.
No. He's trying to get her back, but half-heartedly because he can't stop picking up the phone, which who hasn't been there? And kind of blows her off. And then she goes back and is like, okay, we need to get the group together, which was confusing to me because I thought we already got the group together.
The group's together.
She went out and she found the guys.
Yeah.
They're good-looking, cool, fun guys.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they hold auditions, and they don't hold auditions in where you would think, like a dance studio or even the YMCA, perhaps.
Right. Yeah.
They hold auditions in a law office.
That's right.
It's Caitlin's law office.
Yes.
For some reason. We find out there, I think, that she's like an entertainment lawyer. So she's going to be helping with the group. They have auditions. Every like kooky character from the village comes out. Caitlin's parents show up and they're like, there's too many weirdos here.
Yeah.
We don't like it.
Too many village people.
Too many village people. Olivia's like, genius. Name of the group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they cast 1 or 2 more people. I can't remember.
The biker comes.
The biker comes. Oh, and a military guy comes.
And yeah. And the biker goes, "Can I sing?" And then he sings Danny Boy.
Yes.
Which is not a disco song.
No. I thought that was a strange choice for sure.
Definitely. But he's in.
He's in.
Based on that alone, he's in.
He's in. So it's like, okay, we got our all-star group, right?
Yes.
They're good. They're sexy. We've seen them dancing in a fun way. We've seen them singing in a fun way, which is why the next scene was very confounding to me. Because in the next scene, she brings them to like a studio, invites the music producer boyfriend there. And she's like, all right, guys, give it your all. And they don't seem to know how to dance anymore.
Yeah, they're not coordinated.
No.
They're bumping into each other. They're making like really simple mistakes.
Yes, they're singing an extremely repetitive song. I think it's like
Liberation.
Liberation.
It's liberation.
Liberation. I love liberation.
Yeah.
And they're just like knocking into each other while they're it's not good.
And the producer's watching this like, this is a mess.
Yeah. And the producer's like, this isn't good.
Yeah.
So he walks out. And then Olivia follows him and she's like, hey, what are you doing? You got to get on the ground floor of this. And then he totally changes.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I'll give you a lowball offer. He writes something down on a piece of paper that we can't read. And she's like, I can't even feed my cat with that. Right. And he's like, you don't have a cat. And she's like, but I could have one.
Good point.
Good point. You never know when you're going to get a cat.
Yeah.
So she decides to be their manager.
Right.
And then
I thought she was her
I thought so too.
I thought she was whatever she's doing, she's managing.
That was also very unclear. Like, what is her role in this? Because she's not making the music.
No.
What is she?
She's connecting them with her contacts, but she would have to have some sort of stake in it for her to do as much. She's doing all the work.
This movie is such a big example of like women doing all the work and these dudes just kind of like sitting around.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Like she's doing more work
so.
than the actual band.
Yes.
Yes.
The band, it seems like they went to one rehearsal.
Yeah.
So then they go outside and they're like, hey, there's a YMCA over there.
Right.
Let's go to it. And I was like, finally, the YMCA song,
Yeah.
which is a banger.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to do with the plot.
No.
We get a really long montage of them having an awesome time at the YMCA.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason.
No, it's a music video.
It's a music
they
video.
interjected with a music video. They don't say why they went to the YMCA unless I missed it. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's not like, let's get some rest and relaxation or anything like that. They actually just go to the YMCA and they're doing gymnastics.
And apparently at that time, you could swim in the nude at the Y.
Yeah, there's full on nudity in this
yes.
movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, it's free on YouTube. If anybody
Yes.
wants to watch this movie, it's free on YouTube.
Go for it
Yeah,
at your
go
own
for
discretion.
it. Go for it.
But so somewhere in between that, I forget when exactly this happens, Olivia and Caitlin hook up because Caitlin's sitting on a chair and Olivia's like, oh, I have to grab something. And then her dress gets caught on the chair.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, I guess you'll have to get me out of the dress because it's expensive.
Oh yes, I remember this.
And then they hook up.
oh yeah,
And that's the start of
This
a
was-
beautiful romance.
right. Yeah.
And then they prepare for a big final show.
hmm
And it just ends with them having a big final show.
Yeah, they never performed in front of an audience before.
No.
But for their first show, they brought motorcycles on the stage, a tank on the stage. It felt like I saw a tank.
Mhm.
The huge production for what it was. Also, right before the show, doesn't Caitlyn Jenner's character propose marriage to
Yes.
her?
That just comes out of nowhere.
They've been on like 2 dates.
And at first, Caitlyn didn't even seem interested.
No, but now they're gonna get
Now they're
married.
going to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they hooked up once. That's the film.
I guess they just had it to bring some sort of conclusion to that storyline.
Yes.
The Steve Guttenberg storyline, it's almost like he disappears.
Who's Steve Guttenberg again?
That's the writer producer of the songs.
Oh, yes.
But it's almost like he's gone
yes.
at a certain point.
We wanted to talk about like how we would make these movies better.
Oh, yes.
And the whole time I was just thinking, how are you going to have the story of the Village People and not have it be about the Village People?
Yeah.
They each have their own personas.
hmm
And oh, I forgot one other detail of the plot. Right before they do their first show, which is the final number, Olivia Woman decides that she is going to be in the milk commercial after all.
Oh, right. Yeah.
She calls them up,
Yeah.
but only if the Village People can be in it too
And write a song for it,
and write a song for it.
which is the song Milkshake.
Yeah, but they're also not even in most of it. She's a mom and she's like, hey kids, I got milk. And all these kids run out dressed as the Village People. And then
Right.
they drink milk and turn into the Village People. And they're only there for like a brief, here we are.
Yeah.
In total, all the Village People combined probably have 10 lines of dialogue in this movie.
They're barely in it and they have nothing to say except the singing and the dancing.
Yeah, it's almost like they just went outside. Besides their friend who climbed in through the window, they went outside and just found any random guy who is sexy. Could have been replaced with like a mannequin in this movie and it wouldn't have made much of a difference. But I feel like if you were going to write a Village People movie and it wasn't going to be, you know, super factual, you could have had so much fun developing each of their personas and seeing how they came together. Like, did they get along? What little fights did they have on their way to the top? Like, we could have like seen them rehearsing. We didn't even see them rehearsing. We just saw like them wandering around. Suddenly they're in the recording studio, but they haven't learned anything. And then suddenly they're doing their final big show.
Yeah, if they did like a Hard Day's Night kind of version, like the Beatles movie with them, and it's like they get together, and then it's just a series of gags with the group, and then it like segues into song performances. I think that would have been a fun movie.
Yeah, I don't think Olivia's character even made sense.
No.
It was like, why? We don't know this woman. We don't really learn much of anything about her the whole time besides that she's a model, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's like, there's nothing that's like making us interested in her story. We're just like waiting for the musical numbers, but she's not even singing in any of the musical numbers.
Yeah, it centers around her when in a different movie, you'd think she'd be the lead in the group itself.
Yes.
And she's pushing to get like her own group going.
It also could have been interesting. You know, this is a woman who's been in entertainment. She makes a side comment in one part where she's like, oh, everything is just like the casting couch, so I had to get out of there. So it would have been interesting if it was like, this is a woman who's been sidelined a lot, and now she's like going to be empowered by running the show. But the way that the movie does it, it doesn't feel, even though she's doing all the work, it doesn't feel like she's running the show. It feels like she's everybody's mommy. It doesn't feel like she's in there making these intense business decisions or that she has this like strategy or a vision or anything. It seems like she's just kind of like holding her roommate's hand through his dreams that he doesn't even seem to really care about. He's just kind of like, oh, I quit my job to do music that I think is impossible and I'm not going to bother to even try it. And she's like, rent's due. And he's like, nah, I don't care.
Yeah, there's too many, like they should have got rid of Steve Guttenberg and just had her be the producer songwriter. Yeah. And then she has more at stake because that's where a lot of the money is in a lot of this music industry. I mean, like if she's not going to be performing in the group itself, she should be a co-writer on these songs or the sole writer. You know,
or like if she just had some passion for it, but she didn't really seem particularly passionate. She just kind of seemed like she was bored.
Yeah. She was looking for something.
She didn't have a lot going on.
There's one scene where she's on the phone with, I think, the agent, the model agent, and she's like, I'm enjoying my new life here. And she's brushing a chair. Do you remember this?
No.
Like she's brushing a chair and I don't know what she's doing. Like, I don't know if she's sanding the chair with like a sanding brush. I don't know what that is. But she's like, this is my life now. And I don't need the spotlight.
She didn't seem super committed to that. She was just kind of like, oh, I'm like taking a break and I didn't see the vision from her. And then I didn't see the vision from the songwriter dude either. So it was kind of like nobody really cares about this project. I was also wondering, like, why are the Village people even doing this?
What are they? Why are they invested in this?
Yeah.
And they all live their own lives.
But we don't learn anything about their lives.
Right. It's not like they're going like, oh, I hate my life right now. I need to be in a music group.
No.
They seem to be fine.
Something that's like really interesting about biopics for musicians or artists or whatever is seeing how incredibly passionate they are and how they'll work so hard on this like singular goal, even if nobody understands it or nobody gets it. But in this movie, we didn't get that from any character. Nobody seemed to care about this project at all. Everybody just seemed to be wandering around the village, falling into things.
Yeah.
Which would have been fine if the songs were more entertaining and there were like better bits. But there was a lot of just like jokes here and there that just like did not work. And I don't know if it's the time period. Maybe back in the day when this came out, it was funnier. But there was a lot of jokes that I was like, I don't even understand what that means.
I think they probably fell flat at the time too. I don't know if anybody was laughing, but yeah, it felt like they did a first draft and they didn't rewrite it
Stream
or
of
anything.
consciousness.
It's just stream of consciousness and then this happens and then this happens. But yeah, if you were to do it again, it's like maybe she doesn't want to model anymore because she really wants to be a songwriter, or maybe she really wants to be a singer.
Yeah, or maybe
it is.
even she really wants to, she's had such a bad experience in the entertainment industry. She really wants to like shepherd passionate people to creating their projects, and the village people, we like get to know each of them, and they each love singing and dancing and are like really trying to pursue this and are like living their own lives, but like really committed to this. Like that could have been cool.
That could have been a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. But they were just, the village people, most of the scenes that they were in were just sitting around.
They were just sitting.
Waiting to be told what to do.
Yes. The other thing that's odd about the movie, maybe not so odd given the time, but there's no mention of any kind of queerness whatsoever.
That was interesting to me too, because I thought that was like a known thing that the village people were queer even at the time. But I do know that Hollywood was very like uncomfortable with disclosing it. I thought that there was going to be more queer coded things happening than there were. The only things that I know that I picked up on that I was like, I think that's a slight allusion to it, is there was like a couple uptight characters who would come in and be like, oh, this place is wacky. And I think that they were kind of subtly hinting at that it was queer, but I'm not positive.
And village people in itself as a term seems to be a code for, oh, these guys are gay.
Yes. And initially, even when Caitlin comes to the door with the cake, she's like, you hang out with some strange characters. And Olivia's like, I'll hang out with anybody. And Caitlin's like, anybody? You shouldn't just hang out with whoever. And Olivia's like, well, I'll hang out with anyone unless they're a square. Like you. Your squareness is showing. You're a sharp little square. And then
it was a pretty good burn.
Yeah. And Caitlin's like, oh, right. I should be a different shape.
Yes, exactly.
One that's nicer.
Yeah. The YMCA seemed to be overtly queer.
I thought so too. That song.
Yeah.
That song was the highlight of the movie.
And also there's group showers with men. There's a lot of stuff going on in there. But if they really wanted to take the film seriously, it's kind of a missed opportunity to see gay nightlife around that time. That would have been a good movie.
So interesting.
Yeah, that would have been great.
I was also thinking, like, what a missed opportunity to not incorporate the songs into the plot of the movie.
Yes.
Like a lot of jukebox musicals, they do that and it's like kind of clunky, but at least they try. This mostly just completely random. Like, why didn't we have one or more of them staying at the YMCA?
Yes,
living there. Why did we just have a scene where they're walking down the block and they're like, oh, hey, it's the YMCA. Do you want to check it out for a little bit? And then it never comes up again. It's not important to the plot at all. Why? If the YMCA is such a big number, or what if they all lived there?
Yeah, that's how they met.
And they met.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I'm really passionate about singing and dancing too. Or like they meet at the YMCA. They are all hanging out at the YMCA, and then at night they're all hanging out at this club, and then like we see them get together. That could be cool.
Yeah. When the motorcycle guy shows up, that's a prime opportunity for Macho Man to show up.
Yes.
Everybody does Macho Man.
Why didn't he sing that instead of Danny Boy?
Nobody wants to hear Danny Boy.
No.
Yeah. There was a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah. I'd say for this script, this movie, how we'd make it better is a completely different script.
Yeah. Just redo the whole script.
Whole script.
The whole thing. Yeah. Make it a little more fun.
Yes.
It could have used either more bits and just go for gags all the way through.
Yeah, they could have made it exactly. They could have made it way more ridiculous and just had it be like silly, 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 or more grounded and fun in that way.
Yeah.
But they did this weird middle ground where it was just like long sequences of people just sitting around. Nobody really has anything to do. Nobody cares about anything. Everybody's just like, oh, I guess we should like have a meeting or something.
Yeah, it's just a series of scenes.
Yeah.
One little piece of trivia.
Nobody seems excited to have made the group.
No, that's right. Nobody's like, oh, wow, I made that. This is my dream come true. But also, what are they? like when the motorcycle guy does show up and he gets into the group, does he even know what he's signing up for?
I don't think so. No.
I mean, they don't even have a record out or anything.
No.
So
there are some music groups that have done that. Like I heard the Spice Girls, they just put an ad in the paper that was like, come out, sing and dance for us, and we're making a girl group.
Oh, okay.
So it could have been that. I think he was like, oh, cool. But you would think if you're auditioning for the group, it would be like a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'd all like go out and celebrate. And then also, isn't it kind of a weird dynamic that like most of these guys were like already in the group? What happens when you bring in a new guy?
Right. Yeah.
There was no like, how are they going to accept the new guy? Do they think he's cool? Or do they think he's stepping on their toes? Are they like, why did we need someone new? None of that happens. He's just like suddenly dancing next to them.
They don't have different attitudes or like.
No, none of them.
Yeah.
As much as they each have intricate costumes, they have no personality whatsoever.
Right. There's no tough one.
No.
Or silly one. There's usually one who's like, they always have the jokes or something like that.
I was waiting for the cowboy to be saying some kind of corny, like cowboy puns or something. But I don't think he said anything the whole movie. I think he waved at one point.
Yeah. And he just has a cowboy hat. He's not really dressed like a cowboy.
I think at one point he has chaps.
That's something. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He was just kind of there.
He's there. Yeah. He had like a clothes rack on the street when they asked him to be in the band.
Oh, yeah. Where was he going with that?
I don't know, but that would have been interesting.
Yes.
I'd like to know what's going on with the clothes
Yeah.
rack.
Like what were these guys doing before the group?
Yeah.
And then if you're working really hard in a music group, you're going to have to balance your day job or you're going to have to quit your day job. And like, then you have no money for a while. And it would have been interesting to see them grapple with that.
Yeah.
But we don't see that at all.
No.
We just see them like, all right, I guess I'll sing. But they don't even say that. They just nod and then they follow this guy home, the girl and the guy home. And they're like, all right.
Okay.
We're here now.
We're here now. Now we're doing this.
Now we're doing this. Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like there was a very vague message of acceptance, but it was so vague that it was confusing.
Yeah. I think it was barely there. I don't know if they were really trying.
Yeah. I almost
hard.
feel, besides the YMCA song, I almost feel like we can't even call it queer coded. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. It did bomb in America.
As it should have.
But this movie is huge in Australia. It went to #1. The album went to #1. And they play it every year on New Year's Eve.
Wow.
It's like a New Year's Eve tradition in Australia.
You know what? I could see this movie being fun to have on in the background at a New Year's Eve party.
I could see that. I could see that. Yeah. There is a lot of like, I mean, a disco ball is kind of New Year's Eve fun.
Yeah. And there's like flashing lights and stuff like that, especially if you have the sound off and you're talking and chit-chatting with your friends and you're getting drunk. And then every once in a while when you zone out and look around the room, you just like see a Village person. You're like, cool.
Yeah.
You can imagine it's a better movie.
This also could have used more disco.
Yes.
Like disco clubs and all that stuff.
The only disco club we saw was that one time in the beginning where he was like, come to the club.
Yeah. And I feel like that club was a little queer coded as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't put my finger on why, but something about it.
Yeah. But they weren't committing to that. They weren't saying it is that. Yeah.
They weren't even giving us enough hints to really like grab onto the queer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad. Okay. So
it didn't work.
So
but it did inspire the Razzies.
Oh, yes.
The guy who saw this movie, he saw a double feature of this and Xanadu.
Oh my God.
And he
back
said,
to back.
Back to back. And he said, I got to do something. And he started the Razzies because of this.
Well, that's kind of a beautiful way to end our first episode.
There you go. That's the genesis of it.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know that we ever said our names, if that matters.
That's it, keeping in theme with the movie.
Yeah, because we don't remember anyone's name in the movie.
Nobody's
what
saying,
are our names? I don't know. That podcaster girl, that podcaster dude who were talking all this time.
They didn't say who they were or what they're doing or what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just kind of lazing around, chit-chatting. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a hit record.
Yeah. Maybe this could be a hit
We're not
record.
trying to write music, but it could just happen.
We could be the first podcast / dance single.
Yeah,
People are dancing
somebody
to
put
this.
a beat under this.
Let's make it happen.
Well, anyway, we're going to be covering every Worst Picture nominee
Yeah.
in Razzie history. So please subscribe if you liked this, and we're gonna do other ones after this.
Next week is Mommy Dearest, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mommy.
Mama's got connections. What was the line? Mama's
got connections.
Music connections.
Music, yeah. All right. Well,
Nice.
thanks for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.